Next, development and iteration. Sound mobile app development is an iterative process. You have likely heard the term sprints or agile methodology. This basically means that you break up all development work into smaller milestones and build your app in a series of cycles. Each cycle will include planning, development, testing, and review. There are entire books written on this process, so this course and this session will just provide a brief overview of each one of these steps. If your company elects to use another process, these steps will be quite similar, but the order and length of each might vary. Let's look at planning. The planning phase of a sprint involves dividing up the list of tasks to be implemented during the current iteration. Each task needs clearly defined requirements. Once these requirements are understood by developers, they will often estimate the time needed to complete each task so that tasks can be evenly distributed to ensure a balanced workload during the sprint. Developers also begin planning their approach to solving the assigned problems during the phase. Skilled software developers find ways to intelligently reuse code throughout the application. This is especially important for implementing styles and shared functionality. If a design needs to be changed, and believe me, something will change, you don't want to go back and update code in numerous places. Instead, well-designed software can be changed in select places to make these sorts of sweeping changes. Development. During the development phase, your development team will begin implementing the styles and functionality of your app. As they are completed, they are assigned back to a project manager or a QA tester for review. Good project managers are able to fully optimize developer workloads during this process by properly redistributing the assignments throughout the sprint. It is important that your development team fully understands the goal of the application as a whole and for a specific feature they are working on. Nobody is more in tune with the particular feature than the assigned developer. They should understand the intent of the requirements. If something starts to not make sense, it is often the developers who will be the first to let you know. During development, we use a platform called the Hockey app. It allows us to privately and securely distribute the in-development version of the app to testers, clients, and other developers. Hockey automatically notifies users of new builds, so everyone is testing the latest and the greatest. It provides crash reporting and can ensure only approved testers have access to your app. It is a great way to keep everyone up to speed on the process. During development, we try to update Hockey at least once or twice a week. Next comes testing. Most testing should be performed by non-developers, or at least people who are not part of your app's primary development team. This will help ensure a more genuine testing experience. There are several types of testings that should occur during each sprint. These typically include: number one, functional testing. Testing to ensure the feature works as described in the requirement. Usually, a QA team will have a test plan with a list of actions and the desired app behavior. Usability testing. Testing to ensure the feature is user-friendly and is as intuitive as possible. Often, it is most helpful to bring in new testers for the first use experience of this step. Performance testing. Your app might work perfectly, but if it takes 20 seconds to display a simple list, nobody is going to use it. Performance testing is typically more important in later sprints, but keep an eye on the app's responsiveness as you move along. Fit and finish testing. Just because the design phase is complete doesn't mean you can lock your designers in the closet. Designers should review each feature and ensure that their version was implemented as described in the design. This is another reason why having an agency with both design and development expertise is so beneficial. Regression testing. Remember from the previous sprint? Don't assume it still works. Just because you tested it last month, good QA teams will have a list of tests to perform at the end of each sprint, which will include tests from previous sprints as well. Device-specific testing. There are tens of thousands of devices and operating systems combinations in the world. When testing, make sure you try your app on numerous screen sizes and OS versions. There are tools that can help you automate, such as Google's Firebase, but always test the app on at least a handful of physical devices. User acceptance testing. This is testing performed by either the app owner or future app users. Remember who you are building this app for and get their feedback throughout the process. If a feature passes all the above tests but fails this one, what's the use of it? As problems are discovered in this phase, reassign tasks back to the developer so that the problems can be resolved and the issues closed out. Once testing has been completed and each task is done, move on to review.